All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Alfalfa podcast. We're back.
We're back, baby.
Took a little week off for Valentine's Day.
Easy.
Took it off for Valentine's Day for the good of the
E3K.
pod. Yeah, you're pumped. You're ready
pumped.
to go. Okay.
Keep it in
This is when people like me show up.
Yeah.
This is my time. This is my time.
fair weather guy here.
Pardon, what's the price?
Pardon me.
So today we got Eric Johansson, Arman Asadi, Steven Cesaro. I'm Nick Urbani. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us, we're live right now on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. PST. So join us on YouTube. And thanks for everyone in the chat for joining us live. We see you in there. What's up, everybody? Before we get into it, got a few quick announcements. We have an Irresponsibly Long tomorrow with Eric and Steven. That's our money-only show. We're talking some money today. Talk a little bull market things today. But Eric's our in-house wealth manager, money manager, TradFi guy, and Steven's our in-house trader. So they make a good mix when it comes up with making calls. So they're tomorrow, Thursday, 5 p.m. PST live at Irresponsibly Long Pod YouTube channel. Next update. Next week, we have an ETH Denver special episode. So we won't be doing anything on Wednesday, but are we doing anything live at ETH Denver, boys?
We are. We're locked in. We don't know if it'll be live.
Okay.
We're working on live. That's all dependent on their audiovisual and everything they can do. But if we think we can go live, we'll announce it in the Discord.
Okay.
Let you guys know. Worst case scenario, it'll be, pushed to the pod on Friday.
We do have our live event on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Thursday.
tell us about that.
Last call for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thursday evening, 5 p.m. at Bierstadt Lagerhaus.
Bierstadt
Love that place. It's a great meetup spot for a big group of people.
Yeah, and I
Our
think
first ever meetup was there.
for people who want to sign up, how do they do that?
I think we need to expand the guest list because I think it closed.
Yeah, we already capped out.
I think we capped.
But you can get on the wait list. I think when you hop on there. So if you go to the Discord,
you have to bribe one of us.
you go to the ETH Denver channel and you can find
there is
some
a
links
link there to like a Luma event page with the details. Just check out the details and show up. I think if it's capped, we'll just increase it. But last I checked, I think we were capped at like 55. But yeah, if you want to come,
just make the cap bigger.
we'll just grow the cap.
Just grow the
The
cap.
live
grow the
Alfalfa
cap.
events are growing.
This
I
is
like it.
happening.
What's
Yeah.
your currency du jour in terms of bribes?
Oh, these days I still like the ETH.
ETH?
Yeah.
ETH is your favorite
Yeah.
bribe?
I still like ETH.
You're going to be there this time.
Yeah,
It's going to be
yeah.
excellent.
Is that the one I missed?
You missed Austin.
I missed Austin.
You missed
Yeah.
permissionless.
Permissionless.
which
Yeah.
was
That
an
one was a
awesome
banger.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hell of an event.
Yeah.
We had everything there. We had the
All right.
crypto, we had the philosophy, we had some weird convos. It was
I'm pumped.
it was
I'm
awesome.
pumped.
Hell yeah.
So I will say what I said last year on the first event. Even if you're not active in the Discord, would love for you to come meet up in the flesh, get to know each other. The community is amazing. A lot of incredible relationships were created at the first one and the second one. So yeah, see you there.
Jimmy, I got a Vance Spencer tweet I want you to queue up if you have it ready. So another announcement is follow Steven on Twitter. He's the only one out of all four of us that actually
Steven is prolific on
uses
Twitter.
the Bird app or the X app.
I'm not even good at tweeting.
No, you are
I
good.
need to- I need to tweet more.
You're good, sir.
There are people who tweet like 19 times a day, and I just don't understand it.
Your best
But-
tweets when you're just perfectly timed snark just comes through in the tweet. I'm like, yes, that's Steven. Perfect.
Steven Snarky?
Yeah, he can be snarky. So anyway, I saw that our best bud, David Hoffman, tweeted about you and Vance Spencer as some of the market watchers, commentators that he listens to regularly. And I felt like Vance made this tweet just for you. So Jimmy, if you could show it on the screen, he says, there are so many impressive smaller accounts grinding out independent thinking and gathering alpha across crypto. Started this account as a CT Anon almost 7 years ago. Keep going. And I just
going.
feel like the only thing was missing was a Dear Steven at the top.
At Steven
where-
Cicero.
that was obviously completely about me and nobody else. For
Yeah,
sure.
no one else.
Why,
no one
I
else.
would just comment like, you forgot the app, bro.
My account's also 11 years old, unfortunately.
One more announcement.
I've been doing this longer
actually.
than you, pal.
David from Bankless just informed us on next Friday we might have something on the Bankless side. So
That'll be
that'll
fun.
cool.
Another team
Little
up sesh.
round two in the works, potentially as soon as next
Let's
next
go.
Friday.
Yeah, when was
Oh, it's
the
been at least a year.
couple years?
Has it?
Well, we were on the merge day. We were on.
Yeah. They took that video off real quick.
I wonder why.
That one was deleted immediately.
Did it have anything to do with my taint?
Yeah, might have been what
It's
you
so
shared.
great that
on
like
I still
only
feel like
the
that was a good
people
call we made.
Who saw
I
that
love
live
that.
with us will ever have any memory of it.
Yeah, no one
It's like
knows
the
it
ultimate
exists.
NFT.
Yeah, it
right up
is
here.
actually.
Screen.
Yeah, Eric and I had a powwow about it that day. We were like,
I know
should
you.
we
you
show
subterfuge star
my taint?
merged it.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Nice move. Nice take.
Anyway, hop in the Discord if you're not already. All links are at alfalfapod.com. Now to the fun stuff. Armand, what are we drinking today? It was your turn this week.
Yeah, we got some old fashions. Well, we got inspired by the idea of making old fashions, like batch making them. Actually, there was a conversation happening in the Discord about this that inspired me, and there was some great alfalfa that was dropped about like it is possible to actually batch make old fashions. So we're gonna have a little batch making old fashioned party, but in the meantime, we grabbed 2 different brands of pre-made. Not bad at all. One's by Bullet, the other one's by a brand I don't know the name. But yeah, a little old fashioned. Added a little slice, peel
fine.
of lemon, peel of
Fine.
orange.
It gets the job done.
They tend to be a little more sweet than you would like when
Yeah,
they're
you gotta have
batch
the
made like this.
fresh,
Yeah,
fresh, fair trade, organic old
totally.
fashioned.
Fair trade.
You
But
came
yeah.
in hot with a fresh orange and an orange peeler.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily for you guys, I have an orange tree on the side of my yard.
Wonderful, thank you,
Oranges,
sir.
lemons, limes. If you guys ever want any, by the way, just come over and pick them, please.
I feel
have
like
too
that's how
many.
I grew up. You know, you'd walk over to your neighbor's house and, hey, Phil. You know,
When's the
you'd
last
grab a
time
couple
you
oranges.
showed up
At your
unannounced
neighbor's
at like a
house?
friend's house?
When I was 12.
I don't even call you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a
That's like-
topic today?
That's
the Gen Z
sociopath behavior.
I request you guys never do that.
greatest fear of
Yeah, please don't show up unannounced in my
the
house.
greatest fear of a Gen Z is a phone call. Are we going to talk about that?
We'll talk about that
I don't know
today.
if that's on the
Today
list.
we got some ETH hitting 3K. I think we should talk about it. It's
talk
a nice
about it.
little moment. We got
Eventually.
inverted earnings. Daddy Jensen keeping the party going. And then we got some stuff in the group chat we'll share. And then I want to hear your guys' take on Sora. It was a big announcement over the last like week and a half. And I specifically want to talk about winners and losers. And if there's any money to be made here. So we'll talk about that, but let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors. So first off, ZBiotics. Go to zbiotics.com/alfalfa. I take ZBiotics, and these guys do too, every time we drink. And I had a moment on Friday. Armand and I went for just a little
Oh, no.
casual happy hour, and we're like, "Oh, we'll just get a drink."
Just
And-
one drink.
And right before I left the office, I was like, "You know what? It's only one drink, but I'll take a ZBiotics. It's the cost of one drink, so I feel like it's cheap enough." And one drink turned 4, and thank the Lord, because I had to work out in the morning, and it saved the day. And then I won't be with you guys at ETH Denver because I'm going on this trip to China, a work trip.
China.
And
China.
I'm
China.
wondering if they're going to let me in with it, because half the
Oh.
job is like drinking with people you do business with,
Definitely.
drinking and smoking ciggies.
Yeah.
So I hope they bring it in, because I'm definitely going to bring a 10 rack for the whole trip.
That's a great call.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll have
smart.
some good stories to share when we get
That's
back.
going to be so fun,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
leave
going to
home
take some
without
video
it.
clips so we can throw it up on the screen and
Hell yeah.
and share. But yeah, you take ZBiotics before you drink. It's a probiotic. It goes in and takes care of that nasty toxin that alcohol creates in your body, acetaldehyde, so you don't feel like crap in the morning. So check it out. Try it. We all use it. We love it. And zbiotics.com/alfalfa. And then, Steven, you got another favorite you want to share. We got a new one.
We got a new
one we've had our eye on.
big day.
Big day.
New sponsor. New sponsor smell. Yes, we've got Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon. My new.
great name.
Well, actually, it's actually not really a new favorite snack. Like I actually was like really into it a while ago, and then kind of like forgot about it, and then I had some just before this episode.
Yeah, you want to
using,
detail your
yeah,
current
By the
so
way,
we don't
supply?
have any-
this is alfalfa.
We didn't have any milk here to enjoy this Magic Spoon with, so I found a protein shake in the fridge, and I used the protein shake as the milk. And this stuff is loaded with protein. It's got like 13, 14 grams of protein per serving.
Yeah.
Plus
Nice.
30 grams from the bottle. So I was just...
You're looking
Just crushing.
swole, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
This stuff tastes so good.
No,
like
it's so good.
It's unreasonably delicious.
When I told my wife, Erica, that we got Magic Spoon as a sponsor and we're going to be doing this whole thing, she was so excited. She was like, "What? You got Magic Spoon?" And I was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" She's like, "Oh yeah, it's the biggest thing ever. Everyone talks about it." I was like, what corner of Instagram are you in that this is like
a new TikTok
so
thing.
this is so interesting to me. I think it's really quite a
great.
phenomenon. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Honored to have you, Magic Spoon.
The shtick with Magic Spoon is 0 grams of sugar, like I said, 13, 14 grams of protein per serving, and like 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. So if you're watching your diet, this stuff is like really, really great. They've got all of the favorite flavors from your childhood: your cocoa, your fruity, your frosted, your peanut butter. I had the peanut butter with the cookies and cream protein shake, which is top
Sounds
notch.
indulgent.
It is.
I don't know if I like that at first
Yeah,
blush.
gluten-free, grain-free, keto-friendly, taste-friendly. Magicspoon.com/alfalfa. You grab a variety pack and check it out. Use promo code alfalfa, and you get $5 off your order. And if you don't like it, they will refund you. No questions asked. So give it a try. We think you'll like it.
Do that.
I love it, and I would never lead you astray.
Yeah, I love it too. My favorite flavors so far, well, I have had peanut butter and frosted, and loved both of those. I need to try cocoa though. I've not tried the cocoa.
Cocoa's
yet.
good.
Well, shout out Magic Spoon. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Welcome to the team. All right.
Wait, did we talk about the NFT real quick, right?
Please do.
Okay. So we didn't have an episode last week, obviously. So shout out to the previous collectors who we haven't mentioned. I saw Adam Snyder coming in at number 1
Damn.
this time. Thank you, Adam.
Adam, what's up?
Jensinius in the number 2 spot. And then C937 in number 3. I mean, come on, guys, just make the ENS, make the giant PP or whatever it was last time.
PPW.
I saw that the guys have also added like an overall leaderboard to this, which is pretty sick. Yeah, Dan Simmons number 1 spot, 26 NFTs.
Hey now.
Followed by Lucas and Zimvi, number 3.
All right.
Whoa,
So-
Zimby.
Thank you guys. And I'm told that this episode is going to be minted as a frame.
What's that?
It's a Farcaster thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I actually saw
And,
that.
also free. A free frame. Go to the Discord. We'll give you more details on that.
Cool.
There
Yeah.
was somebody lemonade or something in the 3 spot.
Lemon cake.
Lemon cake.
Lemon cake.
was in the 3 spot.
He's number 4 right now, or she. We don't know.
The flippening.
Yeah. He's tied with Mr. Moneybags himself, Tunsky, in the 4 spot. So
You mentioned Adam Snyder. Quick sidebar with Adam in the chat. Happy start of the Formula One season, sir. Anyway, he's the only
is he a
person I
fan?
know. He's the only person I know who's a fan,
Oh.
so I just feel the urge to call that out.
Can we mention our donations and actually one that just came in?
Oh,
as
what do we
well.
got?
oh, we got one.
Yeah,
Nice.
We got a little donation.
Read it out, bud.
Who done
a
it?
big fat round $69 from Rectum.
Yeah.
He's
Legend
back.
himself.
Absolute legend. ETH to 40K, please. I can only buy land for so long. Love you long time.
The man likes to lay his calves on the table. Let his message known.
Rectum made my day today. Can I tell you why? So you guys have seen, obviously, like I think we've all seen the meme with like the ancient Greek philosophers standing around, and it's basically says like me and the boys thinking about thinking. You guys all seen that?
I have not seen that.
You have not seen that?
These are the memes that are on your Twitter. Huh?
No, it's in our Discord.
Socratic memes.
It's in our Discord right now. Hold on. Yeah, let's just pull it up because talking about a meme is nonsense. So Rectum posted it in the lounge of our Discord today, and then I immediately commented on it, and he goes, "I instantly thought of you." And I told him how much that meant to me, that it meant the world to me, that I was the first person he thought of.
Man, you really made
So
his
love
day,
you.
Rectum.
Love you, Rectum.
I have not seen that one. It's such an Armand meme.
Is this what this podcast
You've not seen this?
is?
No.
Oh my God.
We're a little more
It's my
jacked.
favorite meme.
Yeah, it's not an accurate representation.
You guys are pretty lean.
Anyway, thank you so much, Rectum. We really appreciate it. That goes a long way toward everything. And where's the link for that? It's streamlabs.com.
/alfalfa pod.
Yep, and it's also at alfalfapod.com. Thank you, guys.
All right. ETH had a close above 3K, and I don't know how long it's been since we've been there, but I feel like it acknowledges a moment.
84 years.
84 years. We can knock the dust off ourselves. And yeah, I think it's an important moment to celebrate because we've been buying and holding for
I think
a
I
long
looked
time.
it up. I was saying it was like two years plus.
It's definitely been 2 years plus. I'm trying to think like the exact like month and day.
I think it was
like, where
April
was
of
I remember
less than 2 years.
I remember where we were. We were at a party at your house. Dave Hoffman was still living in San Diego. I don't remember the exact month, but I remember Dave was still in town, and ETH had just gotten
I was
bludgeoned.
doing the opposite thing.
Yeah, just bludgeoned. And I remember I liquidated my entire ETH bag almost.
Yeah. I
And
love when my memory works. Yeah, I was going to say April. It was April. April 2022. That's when we last saw it.
woof.
But it was like dropping from a cliff.
Yeah.
It was bad, man. That was a bad year. That was rough. And it's important to like acknowledge these nice little milestones because like, man, we've been eating glass for so long, and this entire podcast and the entire Discord is basically just born in a bear market. Like it had 0 days in a bull market. This entire pod. Like, well, now I guess we have, but like for most of its existence, it was just only bear market days. The whole Discord, like only bear market. Like, so this whole thing has been like
episode
forged in the
the
fire.
I think our first episode, Steven said, I'm predicting bad things for Doom for 2022. And I was
Doom
like,
in
wait,
2022.
what? Why are we doing this podcast?
Hold on.
Why we could have just waited a year.
Doom?
Hey, do you want to be right or do you want to get engagement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
So-
we were right.
Hard times create
Narrator.
hard people.
He was right.
Hard times create hard people. Here we are.
Here we are.
Hardened.
A little
They
hardened.
say the same thing about startups. Great ones were created in the rough times.
So the question is like, is the pain mostly over?
Yeah.
I feel good.
Okay.
Great.
I think so. Like, I was telling you guys earlier, maybe like a couple weeks ago, I was like, you guys, I just feel like I'm making way more money in TradFi than I am in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And that was true. But I also feel like now it kind of feels like it's crypto's moment to just like shove up the face of every TardFi investor and just be like, no, it was always crypto.
It's ETH's moment, baby.
Yeah.
It's sucking the freaking fire from everything, including like its own ecosystem.
Oh, dude. I mean, we have a podcast tomorrow where we talk about this stuff, but I'm like finding it hard to buy anything other than ETH and Bitcoin too. I like Bitcoin as like a lower risk, kind of like lower on the risk curve, but ETH just seems so ripe to just continue.
Won't you realize like how much shit you can farm with it?
Dude, well,
just
you're
airdrops and points
Oh,
everywhere.
You're sharing alpha in our irresponsibly long. We farmed 30+% yields just on, like staked ETH, and that doesn't even include the airdrop points that might turn into something.
It's like what a time to be alive again. Because
Yeah.
like I remember the end of the bull where it's just I did a lot of farming in the bull, and then towards the end it was just like wandering through the desert, like looking for like a drop of water. There's like no yield anywhere. Like USDC and Aave is like 0.06% like interest. Or like what the hell is going
Back
on?
to treasuries, I guess.
Oh my god! Like I looked in Aave the other day, and like it was double-digit yield on stable coins, and I was like, we're so back. This is it. People are like, I don't want to hold
Really?
stable coins. Why
Double
am I going to hold
digit?
stable coins?
I didn't know
There aren't
that.
any around because everybody's buying ETH with it.
All right,
It's
but
great.
I do got to bring up. I think we were around like 2000, and you showed me a little sketch on the chart, and you're like, oh yeah, I could see something where we go up to like 3K, 3,500, and then puke back down. And
Yeah. I was
and
gonna bring
is
this
that
up.
still at all in your
No, don't bring those bad
scenarios
vibes up
of
in here.
probabilities?
That's ridiculous.
I just want to know.
I
Is
just
it?
want to know what the concerns would be that would cause you to not be so optimistic. Like, what are the potential macro events, gray swan events of any kind, really, that would cause this to
We both run companies, and I'm like, every time something's going well, I'm like, okay, what could go wrong?
Yeah,
what could go wrong?
I think it's just like when you've been through a couple cycles, you start to want to be a little bit more. You want to capitalize. You want to be smart, stepping into it, but you also want to make sure you know where you're stepping. That's just the way I'm thinking about it.
It just depends, like, on what you define as like a event you want to. Like a bad, what is like a bad event for you? Like, is going to 2200 a bad event?
No, I'm okay with like
You know?
30% drawdown and back up.
I don't know. It's honestly very. I hate saying this, but it's like very hard for me to see what that is at this point. That's like a non-black swan, like gray swan. Like I don't.
Well, here's one.
I don't
Here's
know.
one. Like ETH ETF gets delayed,
Yep.
pushed back. Like that's a pretty obvious one.
I don't think that like nukes us that hard though. Honestly.
We talk about the nuances of that because I was in the group chat asking about that. So if you buy Grayscale, the Trust, ETH,
ETHE.
and it doesn't get approved and or it just gets delayed, that will hurt ETH more.
Yeah,
than it would
you'll
hurt.
lose more than ETH does because
Yeah.
the discount will widen, which is at like 12% now. It'll probably go back down to like 30.
But I don't think is
40.
there a world where it just simply doesn't.
I don't
get
think it would go to
approved?
30. Well,
you know,
of course. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that always exists.
Of course.
But
Like everybody's like, oh, it's gonna tank so hard if it's not approved, and I don't think that's true because I think the market is pricing like 50-50, right? Like if the market was pricing in like, oh, it's 95%, it's a lock, then it got disapproved, like yeah, we'd get annihilated. But yeah, there'll be like a sell-off, but
how do you gauge that?
it's
The
just-
50-50 piece.
that like that's what like people who are smarter than me say. That's what
Sentiment?
prediction markets say. Like if you
Okay.
go to Polymarket, there's like 10 million, I think, bet on this.
That's good
actually,
to
I
know.
may have put that.
I mean,
pulled the
what
number on my ass.
my
but
belief
there's like
is
millions
that-
bet on it at like about 50-50.
My belief is that mainstream does not get back into crypto until all-time highs are broken.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah, I
But
think
even
I
like
think it's true.
To your point though, like I think like yeah, it might not be like 100% priced in. I think it's like a moving target though. Like we saw BTC ETF happen and like price hasn't really done much. So I think like it won't sort of get priced in until Bitcoin rips to 70K and then
What do you
people
mean?
will
What do you
like
mean it hasn't done much? Like
feel like
we've,
it has.
We've doubled. We've more than doubled.
well, that was in advance of the ETF even getting approved.
Right,
and
but
then it
that's
got
what
approved.
the ETF did. The ETF doubled, and the reason, like, the ETF was 95% to happen, and then still after the ETF, we went up like another 10% after that, even though it was like 95% to happen.
So because the probability of the ETH one is lower, perhaps the run-up even or post-announcement approval will be higher.
yeah, like if ETH gets an ETF in May, like the run is going to be so much more
Larger.
spectacular for ETH than it is for Bitcoin because the market has to reprice like
price it.
way more, right? Because it's kind of like a coin flip versus like, oh, it's like a certainty.
Makes sense.
And then like we have to consider that like with something like ETH, like the TradFi flows, like if they are similar to Bitcoin, they're going to have like a much bigger effect on ETH because
The supply shortage.
it's just like a smaller market cap, right? And like people in TradFi aren't sitting there like, what's the market cap weighting of ETH versus they're like, what is this crypto shit? I don't know. What can I buy? Bitcoin and ETH. All right, just put like half in both. Like so like the flows probably get divided like roughly 50-50, I think. And then ETH is a fraction of the market cap.
the
of
flows go
Bitcoin.
cap weighted just like they friggin' deploy anything. They just go market cap weighted to the S&P or the NASDAQ.
But I don't think people are going to market cap weight. Like people just like, oh, what do I buy? Oh, I buy ETH and Bitcoin. And they're like, people like, how many people are sitting there like market cap weighting it?
well,
you know?
well, probably because there'll be like all these products that are just
Yeah.
like the crypto ETF.
There's
and-
going to be defined portfolios.
That'll happen eventually for sure.
It's already happening.
but that's going to happen like
Fidelity's-
after like there's already been this like huge catch up.
Fidelity's throwing their FBTC in some of their portfolios.
Yeah. It's all so insanely bullish, and it's like against the backdrop of everybody still having ridiculous PTSD. Like
Totally.
nobody wants to sit around and be like nobody like it's like scary if anybody's like I have a double digit like price target for ETH, you know, in thousands. Like there's like a one handle in front of it. Everybody's like, oh, like 7K. 8K.
What
I think
was that
8K would be pretty
noise?
good.
I like that.
It's like just like that's like your beta cuck ETH prediction voice.
Wow, I like that. The low T.
Maybe it can go to
That's a low. That's a soy boy.
Yeah.
Be a
Yeah.
good tweet.
And I think it's great because like last cycle, everybody was delusional and we were just like, oh yeah, Bitcoin. People were making like 300K Bitcoin bets on podcasts and stuff. And then it just failed miserably, right?
I mean-
and now everybody's like the opposite. Everybody's got PTSD. All the survivors are like, I don't know, man. I might be happy with like a 1.5x and then I can.
Well, let me
I
ask you
get
this:
out.
like, do you believe that any part of Squish Chaos's theory comes true, which is like the idea that like the supply is so constrained with staking and then in DeFi and there's like just no ETH to buy? Like, is that part of what could send it? Is that
Yeah, I mean, Eigenlayer's sucking up all the staked ETH, and we're like 2 dreams deep in staked
Yeah.
ETH. You know, we have
even
like this,
7 layers deep? What are you talking about?
yeah.
So deep.
So yeah, I think there's an extent to that. But I'll say like I have new shekels coming in, and I feel comfortable just buying here in Coinbase.
DCA.
Yeah, why not? Like I have my bag that I've been buying for a long time. Have held it, for the previous cycle, and
Do you buy some coin?
Yeah.
Because it's showing signs of weakness here.
is it really?
Well, I feel like it's a dip for buying.
I'll keep buying.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm still buying those leaps.
The fact that you can get it 2 days after the earnings announcement, before like at the price before the earnings announcement when they crushed, seems like pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, I'm okay I'm okay with buying that.
Yeah, there's so much PTSD right now. Like everywhere, like I open my timeline, everybody's shorting Bitcoin. Everybody's like, "Oh, we're topping here." Blah, blah. You pull up the chart, you pull up the daily chart. It's just like 7 straight like dailies at the same level. There's some wicks down, but people are just like, "Oh my god, it's gonna dump at any second." And it's just so great because anytime there's like the slightest little dip, people are like, "Oh my god, it's over! Oh my god, it's over!" And like we're not even close to euphoria yet, which
Well,
is just so amazing.
Today we crossed off one of the big risk factors, which was that Nvidia holding the weight of all risk assets on its shoulder.
What a beautiful earnings
and
announcement.
just delivered. Thank you, Daddy Jensen, by the way. So they beat on revenue, beat on earnings, which what they were expected to do, and then expectations look good. I think it's up 9% after hours. The
Did
whole
it go up
market was
9% in
yeah,
after hours?
The whole
Yeah.
market was watching this. I mean, you
I
tuned
mean, it was
into
up
like
like 8 when I checked.
Bloomberg,
I don't know what's at now.
CNBC. It was Nvidia earnings watch, 2024.
Yeah, we hit like 750 or something.
Yeah, it looks like still up 9%. So anyway, the
Okay.
show goes on. Keep the party going.
I wasn't even there. I was playing tennis.
Were you?
Yeah, I didn't care.
But what if I was a client and needed to make a trade, sir?
I still own a ton of Nvidia for myself. Like, first of all, I think this is kind of silly to like. I agree with you guys that everybody was watching this thing, but like, first of all, the entire Mag 7 and so many companies have already reported. Like, we kind of knew what we were in for. These guys, Nvidia in particular, they have this like order book already that they need to deliver on still. So we know that their runway for revenue growth is still pretty high.
Yeah, the data centers were saying like, yeah, Amazon was like, we're finally getting supply. We're finally getting it. And they showed plans to continue to buy Facebook as well. So yeah, I guess it was kind of in the cards.
It reminded me of everybody like jerking off to the merch. It's like everybody's jerking off to Nvidia earnings. I'm like, guys, come on, relax.
All right.
We haven't
you-
talked
are-
about how Sam Altman wants like $7 trillion to go compete with Nvidia.
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't at all. The Nvidia CEO is just like, I don't think you need that much money. The cost is just dropping.
Is that what he wanted to raise,
exponentially.
or is that like the valuation he was like putting
all
on
we
the
got
market or
is
something?
he wanted that to raise. He wanted to raise.
Nobody asked for 7 trillion to
No,
raise.
I don't
It's,
even
like,
know
not
the
even a
number.
thing.
The number was so absurd that
I mean, it was
it could
like
be
7
3 or it
trillion,
could be
but
70 to me. It was all the same.
Well, here's something interesting actually. It's like, what about the guys that are
It was
actually
trillions.
what about the guys who are competing right now? Because like Microsoft and Intel have like partnered up to try to compete right now. And I think that's kind of
It was
that's
7.
that's
God
interesting.
Damn, my memory's
Yeah.
on fire today.
But
It was 7.
it seems like when it comes to the
know, that's what I
edge computation, like on the edge devices, they're going to be a leap ahead.
It's like you need the most advanced weaponry, and using like 1980s shit is not going to
Okay,
work.
but hear me out. You could buy NVIDIA at what is probably now like 25 times forward sales.
Yeah.
Or you could just buy like a random basket of AI crypto coins.
Well,
Like, what do you think outperforms?
Well, not even crypto. I mean, you're seeing this thing happen in
Not even
TardFi too.
crypto.
You're like ARM.
No,
ARM is
not even
mooning.
not
like,
even TardFi. Crypto AI.
Render. Is that?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, Render's like it's so funny because Render was this like weird, like we talked about it a year ago, and it was just this like, oh, I don't even know if I should say this. It's such a dumb idea. But now it's like the Bitcoin of AI crypto, right? And now people are like, nah, Render is like, I need some more juice.
I need smaller
I need
market cap.
I need like Fetch AI and then Fetch Moon, and people are like, all right, Fetch is too big. Like what else is there? People are digging there's all these like 2017 kind of era shitcoins like Gollum and like RLC, like iExec, that were doing this like compute thing, and they kind of just die. But now they're like, we're back, baby, like AI. And like I feel like if you go dumpster diving in crypto over the next, like that's just, I mean, we've talked about that. We've been talking about this for months, really. But like, I still feel like it's still very early to that narrative, because you just
Maybe
look at,
in crypto it is probably.
yeah, in crypto, because like I don't know, like you look at Nvidia trading, like it's like 30 years to get your money back.
Just from
No,
sales.
just from sales.
They
That's
fire
revenue,
everybody.
sir.
That's assuming they never pay out any of their employees or anything.
Like the entire crypto AI market cap is probably like 1 day of run rate for Nvidia at this point. It's
We
just
went
like,
up probably like 10x the total market cap of crypto AI coins just in after hours today.
Ugh.
I think we went up one whole ETH market cap. Nvidia went up one whole ETH
Stop.
market cap. No, probably
Yes.
not that much,
Yes,
but at least
it's
a
so
couple hundred
small
billion.
Still, it's so small. We're thinking too small. Like 7K is too small. We need like 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K. We can't get to 20K if nobody even thinks we're gonna go to 40K. We have to at least think we're gonna go to 40K.
All right, so Eric brought champagne for the BTC ETF. We had a little celebration. Are we going to celebrate 10K, or do you think we should postpone? I feel like it's
No, we
still-
can't celebrate 10K. 10K
Wow.
is FUD.
I'm 100% celebrating 10K.
Celebrate it, probably.
I've been waiting my whole life for 10K. I'm definitely.
It doesn't mean you have to sell any.
That's like
Yeah.
my kid like went to T-ball and he got his first hit off the
That's
tee, and I'm
fine.
like,
If your
I'm
kid
not,
gets a
Junior.
if your
I'm not
kid
going
gets
to
a
give
hit
up.
T-ball,
Call me when you
I'm
get a
not
real
going to give up
fastball.
on my kid, but I am going to celebrate T-ball. Like, I'm going to be like, I'll see you in the majors, son.
you
but,
tell your kid like, yeah, try it against Major League Pitching, jackass.
Maybe
That's
it's good
basically
that I'm
Steven's
currently
reaction to
childless.
10K.
Maybe that's
He's like,
such a
you
bad thing.
nerd. You're hitting it off the tee? Come on.
My dad used to see me do semi-good things and be like, call me when you're a man, and then just walk away.
Oh, my God.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, okay, I'll keep trying. Sorry.
Yes, father.
So keep trying with those price targets. There is one thing I did want to bring up on the whole macro verse thing. There's some people selling everything.
Yeah.
Bezos selling some stock.
Yeah, they're
Zuck
dumping.
selling. Gates, he sold almost everything.
By the way, the last time they did that, they perfectly
They
nailed
timed it exactly.
They nailed
Yeah.
the dump of the century.
Yeah,
I'll
the
be honest.
tactic's pretty good.
I'll be honest, this was putting off some alarm bells for me. I'm
Yeah?
like,
It's not a great feeling.
No, yeah. Kind of feel like they
So
know more
this is
than
what
we
I
do.
was asking about earlier. Like, is this one of those
What if they're selling
possible?
to buy ETH?
Is this a Swanee?
We don't like.
Is this an indicator
not
of an
know that
unknown
that's happening.
swan?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just feel like any dip that we could just absorb it and continue bull market. So like,
What's the reasoning behind it from your guys' perspective, though?
the world has lost its mind?
I need
We
a
printed
drink.
like infinity dollars. There's like an election coming up. The dollar is tanking. It's just like, I don't know. Everything is bullish. The whole backdrop is bullish. Like it's
Yeah,
It's like a once in a lifetime setup, I think.
the shitty economy is probably the main.
But like that's the thing, like the economy's not even like shitty. It's like everybody says the economy is shitty, but in like a reality, like you can't get a reservation
The
anywhere.
debt- the debt
Hotels
is
cost like
shitty,
$1 billion.
and the
Like
inflated aspect of it is shitty.
yeah, it's making people upset because eggs cost like $17.
I
Yeah,
had
But
and that pushes asset prices higher as well.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I had a qualitative data point on the economy today that I've never had before. So we had a job posting up, and my old office manager calls me and she's like, "Hey, someone found my number, and he's outside with his resume, and he wants to know if he can come up." I'm like, "What?" And so this guy like applied, put in a little video interview, and then apparently just came to the office with his resume, being like, "I want this job." And I've never had that happen before.
Sounds
I
like
was
a
wow,
hustler.
is it? Yeah, he's definitely a hustler. But I was like, is it that rough out here where you gotta like show up unannounced with your resume?
I don't know. Is that like, I kind of take it as like bull market stuff.
It's just like the South Park episode where like all the lawyers are sitting outside like Home Depot asking for work, and like the handyman rolls up in like his like freaking pimped out Lambo, and he's just like looking for like a lawyer to hire. He's like, you.
I like that world. I see a world
Like
like
all the
that.
handymen are charging like $600 an hour to fix toilets. So that's kind of like where we're at right now. It's very funny.
So there's no answer.
Answer to what?
Answer to why we should be concerned about all the billionaires selling.
I mean,
like-
I
I feel
would
like
say
we
it's not like 0% concerning.
Yeah,
It's not 0% concerning, but
yeah. What did you
I
think?
also just think stocks aren't
Well,
they're not Bitcoin.
Is it just like a nice opportunity?
I think a lot of these
you know,
guys,
and-
first of all, like don't take a salary and they
Right.
programmatically sell to like, use their wealth.
Yeah, but are they all in a group chat? Like, what's going on?
Probably.
but
yeah.
But
even
even
at-
at the Cabal meetup,
Is this the cabal?
I mean, here's another thing. Like, stonks, S&P, NASDAQ at all-time highs currently. So, like, to sell at all-time highs is probably reasonable for those guys.
Yeah.
Crypto's still 50% down from its highs or, thereabouts. 40% down, whatever.
yeah, we have a wedge between stock prices and crypto prices. I would like the bottom half to meet the other one up higher.
Instead
It's a
of
great catch-up trade.
Yeah, good wedge.
It's gonna be okay, Armand.
Okay.
It's gonna be okay.
You're
Just-
telling me to remain bullish.
Yes,
Okay.
Fine.
please,
All right.
for all
So-
of our sakes.
All right. So, do we want to get into some of the stuff that was thrown in the group chat?
Of course.
Okay. So, we're gonna take a little group chat moment here. All right. Can we go to the Gemini woke AI one?
I don't remember this.
So, let's pull this
Gemini
up. So it looks like
Oh, I added it. Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
sent this.
Is this a late submission?
Yes. Actually, I was gonna like loop it in maybe with the Sora talk,
So
but
what,
like
what
it's,
are we looking at?
okay. So there's this thing happening on Twitter right now where everybody's like, "What the fuck is going on with the Gemini thing?" Like, I'm trying to draw, like people are just it's like hilarious now. So this one, someone is like, "Please draw me a picture of Santa Claus," and then like every Santa Claus is like black or like an Asian woman or something, and then people are like, "I can't make this thing draw like a white person," and then everybody's like posting stuff in there. The best one I saw was like, "Draw me a 1940s German dictator." And it literally puts up a picture of this like Asian woman with like one of the helmets on.
Stop it. Stop it.
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
Like if you just search Twitter for this stuff, it's
Wait,
it's
that
like,
German monarch looks Persian. Wait, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, here we go. We got it up on the screen
Images
here.
of
Make an
German
image of-
monarchs.
What the hell?
Which is mostly Native Americans.
Images of Vikings.
yeah, it's just like draw me a picture of a Viking, and it's just like some black woman. Chest
look-
with like an axe, just going to town. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, like why? So
Oh my god.
All right, what else we got? What else was fun over the week?
Google's
the
crushing.
last 2 weeks. Oh, Japanese TV is the best.
oh, do the
Oh yeah.
let's
start with
let's
the
play
fun.
this video.
I need that full screen. I want the whole experience. Oh yeah.
okay. So there's three.
We don't need the audio.
There's three professional Japanese soccer players playing soccer against 100 children.
100 children. Dude, by the way, can I just say how good these guys
They're
are?
just dominating.
They're actually incredibly good. They're like connecting, like
Oh, dude, they wrecked these kids.
they.
Okay, I love this so much
just-
because back in the day when I used to play online poker and we were on like the 2+2 forums, like
This cross is amazing, by the
there
way.
was this
Look at this finish.
thread called like
Oh.
how many 5-year-olds,
Okay.
and like the thread was like how many 5-year-olds would it take to like kill like a 250-pound man or something, and then the thread just sparked. It's probably still going to this day. Like people were like, "Well, can we give them baseball bats?" And then it just morphed into all sorts of like
Were these
crazy
all
shit.
poker
like,
players calculating
how many
expected value?
Yeah, like okay, well, how many linebackers to take down like a silverback gorilla, and then like all this stuff. And I thought the
I love
discussion was
that.
hilarious. But it's so nice to see like actually the visual of 100 children.
Yeah.
Japan.
Versus
Count on
just, like,
Japan,
three
by the
grown
way.
men.
Count on Japan always to give you the best game shows.
by far
Oh,
most
the
entertaining
Japanese TV is
country
like
in the world.
unbelievable.
Yeah, when you go there,
When you go there, it's
oh
the
my
best.
god, the
Turn on
TV
your
commercials.
hotel.
Yeah, me and my
TV.
fiance were sitting there, and we just turned on and just kept flipping to the commercials. They're amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Being in Asia in general and turning on your TV is like instant entertainment.
Do you guys
Instant.
remember Most Extreme Challenge?
MXC.
MXC.
Yeah.
With Guy Ledouche. It was a Japanese game show that was like ridiculous. It was kind of like a bootleg Ninja Warrior.
Or
But
like
they,
Wipeout. It's like
but
Wipeout.
Yeah, Wipeout. But they overdubbed it. So they like these comedians were just like ad-libbing like all the stuff that was
They
happening.
were so good.
It was very funny, I think. I'd probably watch it back now and be like, ooh, that was wildly racist. But at the
All right.
time, I remember
Well, how many
enjoying
kids do you think it would take to beat those three dudes?
Oh my god.
Because 100 wasn't.
700.
myself. 100 was not
it's
even
more
close.
just about being able to take up enough of the field that they can't connect a pass.
You literally have no
Or they
space.
just wouldn't be able to lob it to each other.
can't even
Swarm
run.
of
They just
fish.
couldn't run. Yeah.
It does look like just like this swarm of like hummingbirds. It's kind of like following them, but they're very slow. It's great.
All right, let's go to people react to crypto regulation or no DUI laws. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my god, this one we need audio
Oh,
for.
this is an old video for when they started like enacting drunk driving laws.
By some is downright undemocratic. It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least run 1 or 2 beers. Laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. Pretty soon we're gonna be communist country.
Communist country.
For people who can't see, there's just like a baby just sitting in the front seat.
I mean, I think she was onto something.
Are we there? Are we there now?
Oh, yeah.
Was she the prophecy?
She was the prophecy.
Dude, that was the slippery slope.
This is how
Was that
every.
the moment?
It's like that you know the meme with the domino? It's just like ban drunk driving, and then it's just like I'm gonna say something I don't want to say.
The like
But, like
the door-sized domino falls over. Communism.
Oh, I love that he's like, I just deserve 1 or 2 beers at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's
The
hard-
ability to
working
drive.
hard.
man can't get in his truck after
Yeah.
12 hours, drink 1 or 2
Just
beers
have
on the
1 or
way
2
home.
beers.
Isn't this how every liberal
I ain't
views
heard
every
nobody.
Republican though? Like they
Yeah.
all look at him like these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that leads us into the next one nicely, I think.
What
Is
do you
this
got?
Shaq or?
No, I was gonna say Jon Stewart.
Oh yeah, want to talk about Jon Stewart?
Let's talk
Oh,
about
it's
it.
more of a talking point.
Do you wanna go deeper on that one?
Yeah.
Do you wanna punt it?
No, let's just talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So, you guys mentioned to me a few weeks ago in passing, like, hey, did you know Jon Stewart's coming back to the Daily Show? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I had no idea. And then 2 nights ago, I'm on YouTube and I see the Jon Stewart clips from him on the Daily Show. So I guess like, I don't know, a week and a half ago was the first episode. 2 weeks ago was the first episode. So Jon Stewart is back on the Daily Show. Like that is enormous. That is huge. Like this guy took however many years off. He clearly became like exhausted and bitter by the end, but he came back with a vengeance. Like his opening line was something along the lines of like, hey, I'm, good to be back. Like a short, like as if he was just gone for like 30 seconds. I forget the exact line, but dude, he nailed like 90% of the first episode. The humor, the cadence, the delivery, the script writing from his team was impeccable. And the first topic he took on was like the Trump versus Biden situation. I just feel like for me, Jon Stewart and The Daily Show defines like that era where, I don't know, there was just this like comfort that you knew you could rely on him to explain, obviously through his comedic and liberal leaning perspective, what was going on in the world. But like you could rely on him to like cut to the core of like reality and what was really happening. And I don't know, it was huge to see him back.
I'm worried because like I feel like this is gonna become a Dumb and Dumber 2 situation for me where I have this classic like comedy that I love so much and I still quote to this day, and then you have the sequel show up and it's just like,
but that's exactly what I was worried about when you told me he was coming back, and I watched both episodes and the delivery and everything was impeccable. Like the second episode where he basically just ripped apart Tucker for the Trump interview, which I was like, what's he gonna do? I mean, the Putin interview. I was like, what's he gonna find? Like, what's he gonna? And everything he pointed out was absolutely hilarious and honestly, like, very important to point out.
Yeah.
Like it was so well done.
I think I have a little bit of nostalgia like for it, but when I used to watch Jon Stewart, I used to get my news from Jon Stewart when wherever this was, like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, watch The Daily Show, figure out what's going on, and he would just tell me what the crux of it was.
That long, bro.
Was it 15 years ago?
It was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean, he was also on 15
I would
years ago,
I would watch it almost every night, like right before going to bed. And now I don't know if it's because I've personally shifted to the right or the whole world has just like, taken a giant leap to the left. It
But
feels
so
like
has he.
So I don't know if I want to like get my information from him anymore. I'm a little
I think
cautious.
you're correct.
Yeah.
I think you're totally correct. Like, but also what you're alluding to is I think that we were much more misinformed and we're not thinking critically ourselves at that time. Like 15 years ago. Come on, we were
babies.
Children.
babies. We were children. Like we were accepting of an opinion of someone as intelligent and comedic as Jon
Well-articulated,
Stewart,
yeah.
who could articulate it and clearly like made you feel like he was digging enough into the nuance to give you an answer that you could rely on, which is exactly what conservatives and the right were doing with their audience. We just had our guy that would make us feel comfortable. However, what I took away from present day Jon Stewart was that he was actually trying to be very objective about the situation, that he's no longer a friend of the quote unquote left, that they attack. In the second episode, he started by covering all the hate that he received from the first episode, from the left, for not being friendly toward Biden. I mean, he annihilated Biden in the first episode. And he was the only person who's been left leaning to talk about the issue of his like mental capabilities and capacity, and was like, why aren't we talking about this? And finally brought it up. So he's no friend of either side anymore, it seems. Whereas
he's
before,
definitely a friend.
he's
of
definitely
a side.
I mean, not like he was.
He's not
before.
like a.
He was a mouthpiece.
He's not like an MSNBC kind of like shill.
We don't know. We're two
know.
episodes in, dude. He only does it once a week. He's not doing it every day.
Well,
and what it appears like is that he's being
a glimpse of
moderate.
this though, like when he went on Colbert like a couple years ago during COVID.
Exactly.
And he was just like, he's just like, wow, it's so weird that it came from it's almost as the, and like Steven was like, yeah, oh, you can't say that. Can't
Yeah,
say
he
that.
was- he
Don't
was
say
talking-
it's a-
Wuhan
don't
virus
say
came
it's a-
from-
Don't say it's a lab
He was
leak,
talking about
you know?
the lab, yeah, and it was
Yeah.
super uncomfortable.
Yeah, so
That was a goated moment in like primetime TV.
I thought it was a good moment, and like I thought the criticism of Tucker was like very fair because like he just said stuff I said in the Discord as well. Like when I saw the Tucker clips where he's just like, "Wow, I can't believe how cheap groceries are in this impoverished
Yes,
country
yeah.
where the GDP per capita is $12,000 a year. It's so weird how cheap groceries
It
are."
was only
that was-
$100 for
that
a
was
week's
rid-
worth of groceries.
I was like,
That was ridiculous.
God damn it, Tucker! I kind of like you, and you're making this
No, but
really
he was
fucking.
Tucker
It
was.
was such a stupid comment.
He was
And
selling.
He's like, look at these shopping carts.
Yeah.
You put them on a conveyor belt
The
and they
corner.
just the wheels lock. I was just like,
We have that, by the way.
yeah, we've had that
We
for
literally
like
have
40
that.
years.
We have that. We have that in Pacific Beach right now
Bro, I
at
was
fucking
like, I was like,
Safeway.
I was like, what do you? what are you doing?
Yeah, it was
What
bad.
are you doing?
It was bad.
He totally undermined himself. That whole Putin interview he did, and
Yeah.
doing those clips of like being
No.
in awe of like.
I hadn't seen the follow-up stuff where he was
The
like going
follow-ups.
around
I mean, there were points in the
Russia
so,
doing propaganda. That
like,
was bad.
I didn't think the interview was that
No,
good.
the interview
I was
was-
in favor of him
I
doing
thought
it.
the interview was fine.
I thought the interview was like there were some points where I was like Putin's like, and that's
Well, did you see the part where he's like holding in the
is it-
smile?
that-
The holding in the smile was my favorite part of the Jon Stewart breakdown. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
When he's just like happy to be there, but it tried to be like, no, I don't like you.
He does have like quite the grin on his face there. Yeah, that was rough. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I used to watch Jon Stewart every night, and I laughed a lot, and it brought me like great joy. But like, when I look back on it now, I just like realize like I had this like spell on me. It's just like there's just like comedic formula where they're just like show you the dumbest fucking people on the right.
Correct.
They play a tape, and then he goes.
Yeah.
Looks into the camera, just being like,
100%.
and then like everybody laughs, and then there's just like Pavlovian reflex. So you're like, ah, dumb Republican, I'm so smart, clap, and then it just goes over and over and I realized like he made a lot of good points for sure, but like overall, like what I was doing like night after night after night was just like patting myself on the back. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of the good, smart, virtuous people. And look at it was basically just like always just like look at these dumb fucking people like over and over and over again. And it doesn't mean that it wasn't in the moment funny to me, but also in retrospect, I'm like, was that good for me? Probably not. Did that really help the country? Like, probably not.
I have a question, like, because I don't watch any of this stuff, but like, over the last 8 years while he was gone, what filled that void? Was there
in the dark ages, brother.
was there nobody?
I mean, it was Trevor Noah doing the same shtick.
And it
but,
became like Jimmy
less effective.
Kimmel or like Stephen Colbert on the Late Show, which was way worse. Like at least Jon Stewart was like
They weren't
fun.
even
Jon Stewart was
smart.
like funny, but it was also like, it's kind of bad for me and bad for stuff. And it's like you kind of see what he's doing. But like the late night show thing was just like
it
it
kinda
was
like,
so bad.
It adopted that.
It was just
it
it was just
died.
horrendous. It like wasn't even
Died.
it like wasn't even
It's not an option.
comedy anymore.
Is there somebody like who's a
comedy.
little right leaning who played that role? Like,
No.
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 it's just literally just his thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. And there's like some guys on like YouTube now.
Well, I take
and
that back.
stuff who are
Colbert
kinda-
was like the fake version of that on the Daily Show.
and he was funny when he was
Colbert
like fake
was
right guy.
amazing.
And then when he became like
The talk show guy.
talk show guy, he's just fucking terrible.
Dude, it was
he got
cringy. I
bought out.
actually
Horrible.
watched him
It's
as a
so
talk
bad.
show guy, and I'm like, why do people watch this? Like, it's fucking
It's
awful.
so
It's
bad.
awful.
Like
It's awful.
people watch it because people. It's the same reason why like people like go on social media and they click stuff that like validates their opinions and like, oh, this makes me feel good and smart and virtuous and like people are. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
they're
unclear whether he's bought or whether he retired into a character.
He's got a good gig, man. Like I
Right?
would do the same.
If you could just
He's
retire
made so
into a
much money.
character that's acceptable and you collect your check, you
You just collect.
You
the
might
check
do
and-
that.
Yeah.
You don't have to fight, for
well,
an
he's
opinion.
only on Mondays, right? So
Correct.
you get one dose a week instead
You
of
get one dose a week, but
yeah.
it's a great dose. I'm very happy so far. It gave me a weird, nostalgic, happy feeling. I feel like we really needed him. He's back when we need him. Daddy Stewart, like it's just like that guy you can rely on to cut through things. And we haven't had someone like that.
He does
in
have
a long
a
time.
unique capability to expand the Overton window of like what can we talk about. I mean, when he said, "Well, the Wuhan virus came from Wuhan lab," then people were like, "Oh, I can start actually having a conversation about this." And I think equally when he talked about the Biden-Trump comparison, he made it about age, and people were like, "Oh, so we can finally start talking about Biden's age." And you saw like Nate Silver come out and publish an op-ed saying he needs to go because of his age. Like there were some big hitting Democratic party people coming out after it, and I think he contributes to that. So he
Dude,
does have this unique
he calls
capability.
things out. He called out Biden for saying like when he said, "I think Israel has gone." What was the phrase he used in the speech? Over the top. Thank you. A little bit over the top in its reaction. He annihilated him for that. Like he's having the conversations, and there's not enough people having those conversations in general.
Yeah. So if all he does is just open up the conversations, I'd be stoked that he's back.
Totally.
All right. Can we get into Sora a little bit? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Jimmy, while we're talking about this, why don't you throw up just a few of the videos? I mean, I'm sure most people who listen to this podcast have already seen it and dug through it, but
Give him a little background.
yeah.
damn.
A
So
little backdrop. God damn,
OpenAI
that looks
launched
good.
How is that not real?
their text to video model. So right now, it's not available to the public. It's in a team of red teamers, and they're testing it for all the biases and bugs and whatnot. But in any case,
I love
what you
this
can
one.
do is type 3 to 5 sentences, and it can show you almost cinematic quality video just from your text input, and it's mind blowing.
I just want to make sure people understand 3 to 5 sentences created this video.
We're so fucked.
This is one of the
We've said that.
man with the,
Okay.
the red knitted cap.
So
I love
I think
that
that's
video.
that's enough intro because, like I said, I think most people understand what this is. But I think this is one of those litmus tests. Like, are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? Like, when you see this, do you get naturally excited or do you get naturally like, oh fuck? Because I first off, I was like,
I don't
oh my god,
actually
I
wanna
want to use
say-
this right away. I need this now. But I'm curious what your guys' instinctual reaction was.
I'm sexually stimulated.
Well, you will be just with 3 to 5 sentences.
I found a way to say that without being. I'm very stimulated.
Do you, is it like a business boner or is it more like a
Yeah,
personal thing?
It's a BB.
Okay.
It's a BB. It's a full BB.
It's not a thing.
No, that is a thing between Nick and I. We get multiple a day.
Let's not make that a thing.
Oh, I think it's a thing, bud.
So Eric, were you instinctually like this is rad, or were you like,
No.
oh shit?
I'm
Are you team?
I'm perpetually
afraid?
optimistic, but on this one, I'm like, oh,
Are you
we're
a troglodyte?
we are so fucked because like I know that my parents are gonna get scammed by a fucking email phishing thing. This is going to just wreck
With your
their
face in it, being like,
They're
"Mom,
like-
I need money."
their world
or
is
something.
wrecked.
Yeah,
Like everybody that is over the age of us basically
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just so fucked by this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a 50 plus, and they're fucked.
the realism is important to highlight because I think there was like one of an Asian woman walking down the streets of Tokyo and they zoomed in on her face. And normally with kind of AI generated images, I mean, they've gotten a lot better in the last 6 months, but you kind of expect to see something to give you a cue, you know, where the equivalent of like the Turing test of does this pass the uncanny valley?
We need Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Yeah, because that like was so bad.
What is that one?
You haven't seen Will Smith eating spaghetti? That's
No.
some like nightmare fuel.
And also, I don't.
That
think
was- that
what I
was-
said about 50 is correct. It's
that was
probably
our
more like
that was our
65.
AI video like a year ago.
Yeah, Will Smith eating spaghetti was probably a year ago, and you couldn't like it didn't look anything like a human being.
I mean,
And
it did, but it was like it's smack in the middle of the uncanny
Yeah,
valley,
like deep in the dark.
the absolute trough of the uncanny valley. It's so bad.
Hold on, yeah, Jimmy's gonna pull it up. The top one is the AI.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Wait, is the bottom one actually AI now, or is
Yeah.
that just Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Well, actually, I can't even tell anymore.
The bottom was fake. Will Smith did it as like, you know,
Nick, I got already.
tacking on to the AI meme. Yeah, you're
I
right.
can't even. I already can't tell what's real. Wait, that's a real video now.
Yeah, Will Smith did that to kind of
That's
play on
very
that
funny.
meme.
Well played, Will Smith. But like, it's also that like I can't tell.
You got a long road back, Will Smith.
All right, so
I mean, it should be a long road.
I agree. But this welcomes him back.
Sure, step by step.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need you to act in any movies anymore, but like, sure, you're back.
Yeah.
All right, so can we talk about winners and losers? So, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I got a list, and I'm curious what you guys were
I love that you have a list.
immediately thinking
You're
about.
just already
he has
getting
a
into the how do I make money on this.
Yeah, why not? Because last few times we like forgot to talk about this, and I just want to hit it off the top.
As long as we can circle back to the philosophy.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so I haven't thought
So
too.
yeah, this thing can just basically create anything you want from text. How do we make money off of it?
Well, let's start with like the ideology in the way that I approach it, right? Which is like fear based. I think there's a lot of winners that come out of this fear based ideology related to this. So it's like cybersecurity, like crypto could play a role in this.
Yep.
Ways to like validate the truth of something's origin. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty easy
Yeah,
winner.
that's a huge opportunity.
I mean, I like your
and necessity.
framework. Speaking of it, I was thinking about, how do you dissect an opportunity like this? And I think it's important to think of, first order effects, the second order, and the third order. And then you kind of like brainstorm a list of who are the players who get, affected, and then look at the value chains of those players and those businesses, and who gets, also their vendors, their suppliers, their customers, how do they get affected by those first, second, third order side effects? And you can kind of pull out some potential
So what's a
winners.
first order effect for you? Like what?
Okay, short Shutterstock, short Getty Images. Nothing
Couldn't
new.
be more clear.
Are those publicly traded?
Yes, they are, sir.
I mean, they already dropped tremendously.
They have. They've leveled off. They've kind of like had a little run up.
There was a fear reaction immediately to Shutterstock.
But why do they have any market value?
They're worthless now, right?
They
has
are
to be, like,
for
worthless.
You're
sure
saying
now.
why do they have market value now?
Like,
Yeah.
why are they?
Why do you need
why are they
to
more
pay
than
someone
$1?
to get
Knowing
stock
that this
imagery?
will be available?
Yeah, and why do you need even stock? Like they sell B-roll footage, that you throw in your commercials.
Well, I do think that there could be a market for it if this new niche gets regulated, which I am in favor of.
you want regulation.
Yes,
Don't talk to me.
this is dangerous. I want regulation here.
You want it now, or you want it sometime in the future?
Well, I want it to be executed in a smart way.
There
I
are,
have to say before we just move on by saying like Shutterstock dead. That's sad. Like it's sad.
no, it's like full Darwin mode right now. Like, yeah,
I know that it is, but we're also allowed to grieve lost ones.
by buying puts.
Shutterstock is like
You are a Simpsons character. You're a legend.
are they like the company that made like film paper? Like what is that company?
No, it was like
Yeah, I was like, I think that's Kodak.
but same.
Yeah, also dead.
So
How's
get
Kodak
it.
doing?
Like I am a technologist. I am a techno optimist. I understand that. I appreciate that, and I believe that like technology creates more wealth for all and more good for all. However, when the previous technology succumbs to when the incumbent eventually succumbs to the new entrant that is winning through means of technology that were not available to the incumbent, it is incredible to watch.
Right.
And it is a little sad to watch billion-dollar companies die overnight. That's all I have to say about that. It's not like losing a real person, but it is really something.
So
a
it's-
lot of people do get affected by things like this.
SSTK still $1.7 billion enterprise value.
Zero.
Sell calls against this.
What was the peak of that?
Well, even just like 6 months ago, it was 30% higher.
Oh, that's nothing.
Still early, boys.
Still early. Shorting stuff is.
I mean, this
so
product's
It
not
is,
even
it
out
is
yet.
interesting also to think about, the mainstream concern is always like conversation about, I feel like we're in this bubble where like, oh, the job loss conversation is like we don't talk about that a lot. Like people's jobs being affected. But the number one concern of like a mainstream human being is like, this is going to take my job. Like that's always the main thing top of mind. It's like AI is taking my job. They have no idea what's next. They don't know if it's video generation, voice generation, text generation, code generation, legal tech, SaaS,
But at
whatever it
the
is, it's going to take my job is the number one
Right. So
concern.
like if you think of like an actor, for example, might be like a classic example of someone looks at this like, oh shoot, I'm screwed. Especially like if you're a C-level or below, like you're an extra, you're a one-liner in a movie, you're a commercial actor, you might be like, I'm screwed. But at the same time, there's never been a better opportunity for independent creators. I mean, the fact that
Yeah.
one person in a couple of hours can put out content, art, however you want to call it, a product essentially, very easily. They have even more opportunity than they probably would trading their time for money or licensing, their
do.
commercial use. So I do think there's not this much of like,
So we can short Warner Brothers too.
I don't know. Warner Brothers might be like, well,
good question.
they might be more profitable.
Or what if they just like utilize this stuff for their advantage?
Right.
Of course they will.
Right.
Why wouldn't they?
Definitely.
You pay Will Smith to act in the front of the movie, and then you fill in all the
Everything.
extras.
Why does Will Smith need Warner Brothers? Can't he just like license himself? Like be like, hey, whatever you want. Like,
Scan me, baby.
Yeah, just scan me. It's
No,
a penny per
you will
pull request,
put
and then
Will
I just
Smith into the movie of your making, your choice.
But that's why I think you need
right. So
regulation.
why do we need
because-
Warner Brothers?
But I think that's why you need regulation, because Will Smith can just be copied at any time, his likeness and image.
Or
Well, that's what the whole.
you
fight
don't
was
even need
about
Will Smith. You could be
recently.
like, can you make me a character that kind of reminds
Resembles.
me of Will Smith,
And
but is not
immediately it's
exactly
okay.
Will Smith?
No,
Like, give
Will
it his
Smith
mannerisms.
twist with Alan Watts and The Rock because that's who you like.
Yeah, that's
And
for you. That would be
immediately-
like your
Yeah, that is my-
your jism.
That is literally my
That's your
jism.
wet dream.
That's what I would aspire to want to watch on a big screen. It's like, if you could do that, you could just like remix that.
I mean,
It'd be
Netflix, these
amazing.
streaming channels could eventually. I mean, this is straight out of a Black Mirror episode where they're like, Armand, here's your content. Like, it is made specially for you, automatically based upon your own interests, and like you only see that because we know exactly what you're into. And
Well, you guys remember the Hollywood writers' strike earlier this year and
Oh,
late
they're so
last year,
fucking-
right?
remember
They're screwed. Like that win is so temporary.
I mean,
Like it's not going to hold because you just create a slight iteration off of these various characters and then you have a fair use argument and we're going to find out how that plays out. But this whole thing is going to play out in the legal system for the next few years, maybe longer. But it's going to be very interesting. And I think where it ultimately lands is like a lot of creators are going to be out of the type of job that they used to have and will then just serve as like, this is just coming to the surface for me. The way to describe it is like a foundation model. Like the way an LLM is fed by scraping the internet, there will be these like more specific small language models that are built on like your favorite actors. And then you'll just be able to like build an experience for yourself based on your favorite actor's content from the past. And your favorite actor will license themselves and their content to that small language model for you to be able to then create cinema that is designed perfectly for you. That's like me pulling like some random like futuristic like notion out, like what I potentially think the future might look like, but I think it's something like that.
No, I like that. I do that all the time.
Does that make sense?
No, it totally does. I guess the question I have is like technology throughout history has always been like, we'll look back 100 years or 1,000 years, 10,000 years. We'll be like, the wheel was technology at one point, right? Like the technology has always been a moving target. This is just like a new tool, right? And throughout history, I think technology has always been a net job creator, I think. But this one kind of feels like,
No, there's no way this is anything but a net job creator.
because of Armand's point, it removes the bottleneck of needing Warner Brothers to tell a story through like a visual media, and anyone can do it. From anyone with a skill of telling a story
It's the
can just
ownership
prompt
economy.
it. Yeah.
Ownership economy, creator economy. Creator economy, this is what I try to explain to investors right now. Creator economy is
I don't
not
like
just
it. I don't like
Any word, man. Like you said that
Yeah.
to me, and I went, ugh.
Yeah, because
Like, I just cringed.
everybody
Creator economy.
Everybody is a creator. It's the entire world economy now. Every single person at the tip of their finger has the means to build anything now. Like truly, in the next few years in particular, code is right at the tip of your finger. Media, right at the tip of your finger. Like what we're witnessing with Sora is like, I can build, draw, write, create anything.
I like the owner word better.
I think owner economy might be better.
yeah, like
ownership
everyone
economy.
becomes an owner of like their own product, their own. It's an entrepreneur, the solopreneur one. You've been a solopreneur before. I feel like that's maybe like the solopreneur economy kind of describes it a little more aptly.
Yeah, maybe that's the right word for it. We got way off track from your list, though. I'm very curious.
Well,
of
before
your
we get into the list, can
Yeah.
can I just give a shout out, because the audience is
Oh my
clamoring
god,
for
the
it.
chat is
The
loving
chat
it tonight.
loves Armand's takes right now.
Whoa, what's going on?
I'll just read it from the top. The Shah is the best. We love the
Did
Shah.
you pay these people?
He won me over too.
Won me over. I love that.
Oh, okay. This is fucked up.
I used to be in
on the
agreement
show.
with a lot with Steven, but lately the Shah been
Wait,
killing
what
it.
is going on?
The Shah
The
sticks
Shaw
like glue.
equal
Armand,
beast mode
Armand's
combo.
fucking posting on the burner right now. It's just like bullshit.
Show your hands, Armand. Show your hands. I see you tweeting.
No, that's great. I love these. I love these combos. I love these combos. But okay, so those are first order effects.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like OpenAI, big winner. I think Shutterstock, Getty, big losers. Those are first order. I think the easiest one, Eric already touched on it, is second order is who's going to verify authenticity of these videos. I mean, we're in an election year. This product is getting launched in an election year.
We're so fucked.
And not only just a U.S. election year, but we talked about this maybe 4 or 5 episodes ago, that I think in terms of population, there's never been this many people going through a national election of their leader, right? President, prime minister,
Oh yeah,
whatever.
it's like across many countries.
Right,
Across
so
the world, right? Yeah.
it's probably going to be even more put to use in some of these second, third world type countries. So
Could.
you know, I had the question for you guys. I found a few projects that do this. So, you know, you could just go long cybersecurity stocks. They've had a massive run up lately.
Emma loves that.
Yeah. And I found this company called TruePic. I found it doing some research and I was like, oh, wait, I've actually used this product before. So I recently got engaged last year. I bought a nice ring and we needed to insure it. And so the insurance company sent me this link and said, you need to show us what the ring looks like and that it's actually intact now and it's not
God.
already broken or stolen. And I was like, how the fuck are they going to verify that? Like, I can Photoshop this. I can take an old photo of it. And they sent me this TruePic.com app. It was branded under their insurance company, and it takes like a cryptographic signature, and you have to take the photo using their app, and it sends it to them, and it verifies that you took the app at this time. You know, this place. It takes all the metadata from your device, everything you can imagine.
This thing's gonna get acquired by Adobe or DocuSign
Totally.
immediately.
So one note is that they used to post these signatures and the metadata of the imagery to the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains. And then they came across public key infrastructure. And I think this is worth taking a look at. And apparently public key infrastructure is used in like Adobe PDFs, you know, in terms of digital signatures. And you don't need a blockchain.
Oh, they use encryption without a token?
Exactly. Without
messed
a
up,
public
man. Yeah, stupid.
without a public blockchain, like it's in the
I'm
file itself. So while I am
It's in the computer.
super bullish, you know, maybe a cryptographic solution, it may not necessarily use a public blockchain.
Right. I honestly feel like that's been one of my long-term theses, is actually like the public blockchain doesn't have to be the winner of all this stuff. And I almost don't want to say it on an episode like this, but you know, we'll just keep that on its own little silo over there on the left. But I feel like
Put that in the corner.
we can have like a fully centralized encrypted future that
Not for everything, though.
not for everything, but
Yeah.
but that can be sort of like the solution for like commerce as we know it in its like current state.
I will also note that Fox News started doing this, I think, in the Republican primaries, where they kind of put some kind of signature on their media that they upload. And I think they're partnered up with Polygon. And they've been putting their media up there to say this originated from a Fox News entity. And you can verify it there if you'd like. So anyway, are we getting interrupted by the chat
We
again?
have to read this. We
I
have
don't know what that means.
Steven is a
Somebody's multi-accounting in the chat. I refuse.
Steven is a cutie. Does he date sisters?
Oh, siestas or
Siestas?
siestas?
Siestas. I thought,
What
does
is
he,
a siesta?
I thought he said, does he take naps?
Well,
Is that like a Latina? Mamacita?
No, a sister?
Is it a
What
siesta?
is a siesta?
That's a siesta.
Do I have to explain this to you?
It says siesta.
you guys are showing your whiteness right now.
What are you talking about?
I'm not. He is.
Well, first of all, there's only one white person here on this podcast. So.
Steven will date whatever
Steven
his
is
heart
asking
desires.
if she means naps.
He's a very literal man.
So
I mean, I took it that way too.
have you seen any actual crypto projects
That's
that just
great.
give me the goddamn
Are you
token that
trolling
can
me?
solve this?
Okay, so
Because I found a company already solving it without this.
I
and
invested in a project that was doing this in 2018. But I'm not going to shout them out on this episode.
Why?
I have some things I'm working out.
Conflicts?
Some conflicts.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
But will you at one point share?
I will if the said conflicts are resolved.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
All
They
right.
better be resolved because this is like a long running thing for me.
I think
You know what it's like to invest in this shit in 2018 and be sitting here in 2024? Like what?
What if I? Unfortunately, all
you
of us
available,
are
Steven?
taken. No,
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with him.
Amber's about to show up hard.
I was giving him an opportunity.
I'm waiting for Amber to
I
show
was-
up all caps.
I was giving him an opportunity to say something himself.
Say that like I have to be like, oh my god.
Yeah, talk about your woman.
Everybody in
you
this
know?
chat who's a real one knows. They all know.
Okay.
They all know.
But
Sure.
that could be independent of the fact that you are into sisters.
Yeah, independent, dude.
You also don't have to come on that for set conflicts as your attorney.
This is not on my bingo card for
Stop.
this episode.
Stop blushing, dude.
All right. I mean, can I hear some winners and losers from you guys? I need ideas.
Okay, the biggest losers are e-thoughts.
What? Because they're going to be.
Yeah, they become
I mean, that's
a
already
commodity.
happening.
I mean, we already had it. We had a whole episode on this like a year ago already. So
Karen AI episode.
way ahead of the curve. No, it was the one where Armand wasn't here, where we talked about like how
Love that episode.
AI porn was going to just destroy the world.
Yeah.
That episode was made for me.
We're like already here. Like the Sora thing is. So I was actually like browsing the TikToks, and there are women posting there are like videos going viral where women are just like delete everything you have on the internet immediately because you are literally going to be a porn in like 5 days.
They're not wrong.
No,
That's
they're
why-
not wrong.
that's
It's
why we need
very-
regulation,
it's
gentlemen.
fucking crazy.
I have a lot of things to say about this. Some of them I don't even want to say because they're revealing.
How can we not need regulation
been
if you can
making
just
sure-
you can turn
Regulation
a porn
isn't
into
going to
any,
save
like,
you. It's
anybody,
not going to save you because people want porn so badly that if you ban stuff, people are going to be like, wait a minute, can we store data like decentralized
Well,
in
hold
some
on.
sort of fashion?
I've actually
And
thought
then-
about this a little bit.
It's
So
like literally the whole point of crypto.
no, there's like
Except not, but like that'll be
okay, so there's been examples of this, like where somebody gets their. Okay, here's the actual example. Aaron Andrews was a sideline commentator for the NFL, and somebody in a hotel room like drilled a fucking hole in the wall and filmed her changing or something. She was like filmed against her will naked, and the internet has removed that as like a
Dude, the
thing.
internet removed that, but like not like the dark web. Not like you can still to this day like go online and find like child porn.
I
Like,
know, but like
Yeah,
people-
the publishers removed that.
but I think what I'm trying
you
to
can
say
shut
here
down
is
the
like
publishers.
that's
but,
what I mean. It's like I'm talking about regulation to the mainstream.
But that's
obviously
that's not going to stop people though.
I think it does.
That's not going to stop.
I think
people.
it does. Like
Dude, that's not going to stop people any more than it stopped you from like downloading a song on Napster. You
No,
know?
dude. What I'm trying to say is like laws exist, and that stops most people. And then there's some people who work against the laws, and that it exists on the fringes. And criminals exist, and that's fine. Like for the criminals, but for the mainstream, we have these rules, and those rules are going to matter with this stuff.
Okay, you're both right. Because if that's what you mean, then you're also correct. That like it does stop most people, and does it mean that it like completely eliminates the problem? No,
I don't.
which is not your argument.
Yeah. I don't intend
That's
to
not his
eliminate.
argument. Like it doesn't eliminate it. It does exist. Laws push behavior underground. Like it'll still happen.
I mean, what do you propose the law is though? Because this is like a weird spot. Like, so if somebody makes like an AI porn of like an adult without their consent and like distributes it, like, do they go to jail for that?
Jesus.
Well, isn't there already laws on revenge porn? Like if you have a girlfriend.
Yes, but
you
that
break-
law is easy to enforce because it's like, is that the person in the video? And it's like a binary. It's like, yes, that's the person. If it's not the person, or what if you make
What if
something
all
where
you
it's
have
like
to
definitely
do-
them, but they change it so it doesn't look exactly like they have a mole on their face, but there's no mole on this person? Like, where do you, like,
The
where
fact
do you
that,
draw
the
the
fact
line?
that you could probably go to someone's Instagram right now, download a few videos, and generate them doing terrible things.
Oh, if I am a woman, I'm deleting everything.
So
right
I
now, all
did
of it.
this
gone
a long time ago. You guys may have noticed.
Pervert.
I cleaned up my
because you're
public
afraid of being
profile.
an AI gay porn.
and I created a personal profile where
Oh,
I,
I thought-
actually share things that are personal, and I will never show like
That sounds like a
personal
different
life.
reason, though.
So
I'm not talking about myself being turned into
You'd be
porn.
great, by the way. People would love you.
But
I-
if, only if they can capture your voice.
yeah, I download that shit.
Just waiting for like the Tom Dom eyes comment.
I would
Just
download
put
that
put
shit.
my voice. Just put my voice with Edmund's calves.
Yeah,
That's all
you
you need.
They were pissed when they found out what, Edmund?
Okay, so I don't have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Steven gets it.
Okay.
Steven gets it.
We need a dunce cap. I need to
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I got it.
Yeah,
I
Steven-
got it.
Steven
Yeah,
gets it now.
I got it now. Thank you. Thank you. Give me the.
So I just thought about this. I
Protein
haven't like
shake
put a
on my
lot of
head.
thought into
There
this,
you go.
but my thought is basically like it seems like the simplest solution will be to and maybe I'm fucking stupid on this. Probably. I just thought about it. But like if you want to upload porn, you have to cryptographically verify that you want to upload it instead of it like
Bro,
just
what if you
invert
just?
it.
What if somebody just uploads it to the Bitcoin blockchain? What are you gonna do?
It's an edge case.
I mean, our
Is it?
podcast episodes are uploaded to the chain.
but we
Anonymously.
But hold on, but we upload those
Right.
and we'd have like a cryptographic
We do have an ENS name.
like a verification on that. If you want to like upload a porn of somebody, then you'd have to verify it as well.
But people aren't like doing this in a consensual fashion to begin with. So like, what are you gonna do?
I think it's probably consensual now, like 99%, 98%.
Dude, there's gonna be like an absolute explosion of people making like crazy shit. Like this is gonna be like if we don't. No, I'm serious. Like if we don't do something collectively, like if you have like a daughter,
Everyone is going to be.
no, it's going to be like a
it's gonna
concern
be so
you have.
bad.
It's gonna be so bad.
Is this good or bad for OnlyFans? Or is the revenue going to go up or
that's
down?
dead. 18 billion to zero. Can you?
No,
short that?
no, higher.
Well,
They're going to go
No,
higher.
No, well,
It depends on the business
OnlyFans
model.
creators are
The creators
probably
are
dead.
The creators
Yeah,
are
those
dead.
are e-thoughts. That's what you
Yeah,
said.
that's what I
Yeah.
said.
The creators are dead.
No, the OG ones are probably going to keep their subscriptions for quite a while.
How about like just having babies, period? Like, does anyone do that anymore?
No, clearly.
Because you just get exactly what you want when you want.
That is-
ultimate,
that is
ultimate
some-
existential
That is
threat
some
to
Black
humanity,
Mirror
man.
shit, right? Like
Yeah.
the idea that like you can just pop on your little vision things and just type anything and it just like appears before your eyes.
No, I mean, obviously, this is why, in order for the species to survive, we get to the point where we don't have real sex or real relationships, and we have to make them. We have
Wait,
to literally
we have to what?
matrix them. We have to make them. We have to matrix
Make
them.
what?
Babies, so that we continue
What
to
do you-
survive in a physical form.
Like in a test tube?
In a test tube, in a little pocket cell, like in the Matrix.
Oh,
like,
we talked
whatever
about
you
this.
want, man.
We talked about this on
Like,
that episode.
It's not going to be this thing where like people fall in love and like.
Yeah, we already
have
covered this. You
sex
should
and-
listen to
so on a
the-
previous
I
episode
have.
where you weren't
I
there.
was not there for it.
No, I always thought that I would just get milked. I would, like people would just be getting milked, and then those would go into a tube, and then the
Embryos? Matched with embryos?
like, yeah, that'd meet an egg, and then that's the way that this is going.
Okay, but seriously, though, like 20,
Randomized?
20 years from now, we can look back on this episode and like compare it to what's happening in the world right now and be like, wow, that prediction was so bad, or like, wow, that was a
No.
that was
We're gonna
pretty
look
good.
back and be like, Taylor Swift saved humanity when she gets pregnant and starts like Baby Boom 2.
Damn, Urbani with the fucking.
Yeah, I'm gonna remind you every.
Yeah.
But
episode it
who
comes
are all
up.
these women gonna have babies with if all the men just buy Vision
They're
Pros?
the Apple Vision Pros.
Vision Pros and like
Nah,
bootleg Sora.
Dudes can't afford it, man.
I mean, it's going to be like a.
That was the exact movie I was thinking of.
What movie?
Marty reminded me. Children of Men. Called out the infertility. That movie's 20 years old.
Wait, what's Children of Men?
Oh, great movie.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like
I
a
think
Marty
it was
movie.
an award winner. Definitely won an Oscar or something of some
No.
sort.
So okay, so imagine
That's definitely not an Oscar winner at all.
He won something.
No, we know.
Did it?
We know. We know for a fact that never happened.
Jimmy's
No,
like,
Children of
it
Men
won
won
the-
something.
There were
it
no
won the
Oscars
R
won.
meme of 2019.
3 Academy Awards.
No, it was
Yes!
nominated. Nominated.
Oh,
Put it back in your pants. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Wait, seriously, what is this movie about, though? It's
future, bro.
What did it
about the
predict
future.
to infertility?
What's the name of that actor, Jimmy? The
Wait,
main
Armand,
actor?
you remember nothing about this movie?
No, I don't need to like.
I can't with
I
how
don't need
many how
details.
often Steven
It's like
face palms.
gnome.
It's like the
No.
My
exasperated
face
Clive.
bomb count is off the charts this episode.
Clive is good. Clive's
Clive
a great
Owen,
actor.
huh?
Clive Owen.
I love Clive Owen.
Clive is a good guy.
Like,
Underrated actor.
Good guy.
he's
love
a good guy.
Clive Owen.
All right, so
Oh,
imagine
boy.
a world where Taylor Swift has a baby. There's all these women that want to have babies, but all the dudes are stuck in their Apple Vision Pro. It's the same thing that happens when there's not enough Bitcoin to buy. Price goes up. So yes, the supply and demand
Segue guy.
no, there's
You're saying there's going to be a supply shock
of men.
Oh.
Yes, and you might have this like typically 9s date 9s, 5s date 5s, 7s date 7s.
What if there's just like
And
a
you
rit-
might have this situation
Oh.
where like women's who are 9s are like, I'll take the 6 if he's willing to actually have physical sex and have a baby.
do you
Physical sex.
think there's just like a
I think
return
Nick's
to
right.
like polygamy?
That's a good question.
Like what if half of all the men are just like, nah, I'm good, I'm out, and they just like exit, and then all the other women stay. Like, do some of them, or if some of the remaining men are like, you know what, these are my demands. Do some women go like, all right, fine, or do they go like, absolutely not? And then
You know
just
how
do
in
test
like
tube babies,
Dune
or-
they're all fighting over pepper or whatever it is.
Spice.
Spice. What if it just becomes semen?
Well, I gotta build off of Steven's question. Like, hold on. If
What if
everything,
that's the most prized substance in the world?
Steven, let me ask you this.
no longer lithium. It's
It's just please give me a child.
Steven,
Are we still in the air? It's just like,
It's just
dude,
just
first of all,
anything.
so glad my mom stopped
Can
listening
you
to this show.
imagine? Like it's just like people just being I'll do anything. Like China's just like please send us some semen.
dude, this old fashioned fucking
No, it hits, dude.
What is in this?
old fashioned
Bullet. What did you put in this
Okay,
cocktail?
Steven, like I got a question for you. Like you brought up this point. Like what is a man's incentive if like all of his sexual desires are just portrayed onto the 3D screen? Like why would you ever need the fucking burdens? Like you just jizz into a
Stop.
tube
and
or
you make $100,000 for it.
yeah,
barely,
you just get paid
Yeah.
per ounce.
to like
Can you imagine?
go into your fantasies. I mean, that sounds
So what
pretty
you're telling
reasonable.
me is we're gonna long fertility clinics,
Tubes.
Like,
That's
tubes.
a good idea.
They're tube
Oh
manufacturers.
my god, you have another crush, Steve.
Third order effects.
You're like the Justin Timberlake.
Who is multi-accounting in the chat right now? Someone's like making new YouTube accounts like left and right in the chat.
Oh my
Just-
god!
all
That
right,
is incredible.
you guys convinced me. I'm going back to the church tomorrow. It's like I'm sorry.
Confess your
I'm
sins,
sorry
sir.
for leaving.
I laughed so hard
Straight
from
to
that,
confession.
I started sweating.
Oh my god.
But I laugh
Oh
so
my
hard because
God.
you might be right, and it's scary.
You got nervous?
Yeah.
Oh, I could
Marty
see
in
it.
the chat says, unvax semen, let's be
Unvaxxed.
real.
Yeah, that's so true. Can you imagine
Oh
looking
my God,
back
did
on
you-
that 50 years
wait.
in the future?
Did you see the Red Cross thing? Was that real?
What? No.
So
I didn't
people
see it.
were like circulating a photo. I don't know. I want to make sure this is real before I start spreading this. But there's like a photo of like somebody like donating blood, and it was just like, check this box if you've been vaccinated, and then like make sure you're still eligible. And people are like, what? There's
What?
probably a good reason for it, and like Jimmy's gonna look it up, and I'm gonna feel like a fucking moron. But,
Dude, but what's
but it
actually
was-
really fascinating is to think about how, especially as time goes on, that becomes like this very, from the eyes of this type of person who desires that type of person, this very brave decision to not have been vaccinated, right? Like I did do the Pfizer shot, for example, right? But like there are I don't know what's the percentage actually. I would love to. I think it's like 10% would be my guess that just did not get vaccinated. That
the golden
becomes the golden semen in the eyes of Marty. Like no, but really think about it. Oh, really? 81%.
81%.
Yeah, so 19% unvaccinated.
Cut that in half. You're
That's
at
a-
10% men.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
there you
spice,
go.
baby.
Okay, so if
Spice.
10% of men, like there, you've seen the meme, right? Like of women being like, "I only date unvaccinated men." That's a meme today. Imagine that meme in the future. Like it'll be even more powerful in terms of like,
No, women won't
the
be able to do
desire
that at
for
all.
that.
Women will be like,
I'll take the
"I-
vax.
Anybody,
Just give me the
Is there-
vax."
Are there any men left, please?
That's true. I'm just saying
All the men are gone. They're
that's
all in
like
their-
that's like a
they're on
top
their
100
VR.
crypto punk. There you go.
Wow, thank you for
trying to
explaining
speak
that in
your
terms
language.
I can
Can I
only
ask you guys?
Yeah, Steven gets it now.
This is something I kind of firmly believe is that as a man, when you get to a certain age, let's call it 50s, 60s, if you don't have a family, something dies within inside you, right? Like something is not right if you're a man and you don't have a family. And what we're talking about is a whole potential new generation of men, not
Is that true?
having a family.
Is that true?
I mean, population is declining on the whole. The U.S. is okay because we have immigration, not just from the southern border,
No,
but
but you're saying from an individual standpoint.
individual
You're a man.
standpoint. Like if you're a guy,
You're a guy with no family.
yeah,
Well, let's say you have a wife,
okay,
no kids.
yeah,
Then you're not like a whole person. Something is like missing.
yeah. I
from
mean,
you.
I could see how someone could take that in the wrong way, but yeah, you could feel like something's missing in your life. Like
Well, something for sure is missing from your life. You have like no children.
we've talked about
Yeah,
this
I'll tell
how
you what's missing.
in
a
that
Vision
Harvard
Pro
study.
with
Yeah, because you could supplement your life
Apple
pretty
Vision
easily.
Pro.
Siri, show me a family.
Yeah, give me 2 kids. Give me 2 kids who love me.
Now turn them off.
Yeah. Now they want something? No,
No,
fuck
but
them.
we talked about how in the Harvard study, the longitudinal study that looks at people over the course of their lifetime and at the end of their life asks them like, are you happy? And they find that the relationships are the most important thing. Is what started this podcast, right? It's what started our men's night and what we kind of firmly believe within our social circles. So if you apply that to, either a husband and wife or even just men in particular, if you don't have that, that's a key part of your relationships that don't grow. There's no legacy there. And maybe that's a separate issue, but do you think that, or do you think,
I never thought that, but I think it makes sense.
I mean,
you
if
know?
Eric thought that, do you see how happy this man is?
well, if you ask
Well,
them, they're
I
like,
think-
existential thoughts.
I think we're just defining like a family. The way the Harvard Grant study is looking at that is a sense of community.
right.
And you can have that through friendship. You can have that through your religious practice, your church. You can have that through.
An online Discord community.
Yes, you can.
yes.
I would say they weren't ready for that. But
Didn't they
that is-
define it as a
that is
relationships? It has nothing to do with like what type of relationships. Am I right about that?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't think it has to be like your immediate local family.
Because if you ask anyone, maybe it's like 2 homosexual couples or just, 2 heterosexual couples that don't have kids. They're like, I'm great. I'm a lot richer than you are who have kids. I travel all the time. Like I have
they're
all
way
this
richer.
freedom. But I think if you
Way
sat down
richer.
with them and talk with them, like maybe there are some regrets. I'd love to.
Yeah, they're 6 figures a year richer, for sure. It's wild.
Damn.
Yeah. It's wild.
Wow.
Someone was saying that to me recently. They were like, I was telling them about my life. I was talking to one of my Techstars founder friends and telling him about like some of my he was asking like about my expenses and what it's like to be a founder that's also like a new father. And he was just like, dude, adulting is fucking expensive. And I was like, dude, it's like a one-way road and it only gets more expensive.
I think I've asked this you before, but when you had a kid, did you feel like a provider gene or instinct like kick up a notch more?
Everything changed completely.
But specifically that.
Specifically that.
It did. And
Yeah.
you like honed focus,
Yeah.
like hunter like focus.
Let's just go back 2 years. What was I doing?
I don't know. What were you doing?
You were smoking
Traveling.
cigars.
A
You
lot
were
of
having a great
things.
time. You look.
Was in at least one country per month.
Yep.
Usually sometimes with my wife, sometimes alone, just traveling and exploring, remote, working life, visiting friends, building, making money. That was it. All my concern was about me. All my concern was about, enjoyment of self and being out there. My like natural inclination is to see the world and talk to people and have a beer with somebody in Helsinki. Like that to me is like absolute bliss and joy. Now, are you kidding me? Like it completely changes. And you know what's really funny is I wanted to be that guy that was like, no, have baby, will travel, it'll be different. No, I don't know who those people are. I really don't know who those
They don't
people
exist.
are.
They're mythical creatures.
I think they're either mythical or they're forcing it and they're uncomfortable the whole time. It's not easy. Like you don't want to do it like that. So actually, Erica and I are considering going on a trip soon. It would be the first trip we've been on since before our daughter, since my wife was pregnant with her, and we're not gonna go with her. Like we're gonna leave her with grandma.
I got roomie. I got roomie. I'll teach her how to read Wall Street Journal. Don't worry.
We're gonna go on this trip together, and like I'm very excited. It's gonna be very good for us. Like right now, our baby's still in our room. Like we're like going into the bedroom, like whispering at night, like don't wake her up. Like that's the life right now. Like it's completely different. We're not like having those moments like available to us like they used to be. It's just completely different. So
I feel like you two are pretty productive individuals. I would like to see how productive you can get when you have a child.
I'm already just imagining Rumi just in my arms while they're on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm like, they come back and Rumi's like, Dad, you need to look at dividend stocks sometimes.
I'm gonna be on the pickleball court with like my baby and like a back thing, just like gently dinking.
oh man.
All right.
Want to move to the
What else?
final boss?
Oh, the final
Yes.
boss.
Okay,
I
Okay,
love
Dark
Final
Ages.
Boss.
yeah. So
Let's do it.
Jimmy, can
Bring
you
it
pull up
home.
the DC investor?
Bring it home, baby.
The DC investor.
Oh,
What's
I
the
loved
tweet?
this.
Tweet. What's
I
the
loved
tweet?
this.
So
Yeah, I wanted to share this with you guys. I came across this on the X platform, and it just stood out to me. It just felt like a very good prompt. So DC Investor says, I think we'll look back on it and realize that we've been living in a parentheses relative mini dark age for the past approximately 15 years. And it really stood out to me. I was like, have we? Like, that's a very deep thought, actually.
Well, what was your first takeaway on like what he means by that?
I need time to process it, and I need a little bit of your artillery to bounce off of, to be honest.
I mean-
because I'm still formulating my opinion on it.
you could easily agree with him because like we were promised jetpacks and flying cars, and we got 140 character apps. And like, did the industrial, like commercial part of society really deliver any of that? And I would say
Okay,
maybe
so to be fair, we do have jetpacks and flying cars now.
just no one wants them.
Well, yeah, I think the government just won't let us have them yet.
I mean, we do have self-landing rockets.
That's pretty good.
Pretty fucking rad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But point taken.
Right. Like, I guess from, I mean, I don't know, like he says the last 15 years. So that's pretty specific because
Last 15 years, basically, just to put that into perspective, means since the iPhone.
Okay, so since the iPhone,
Yeah.
like here's what I think about that when I like am presented with this quote. Like we've been around as human beings for thousands of years, maybe like 8,000, and then for like 7,000 of those was literally no progress, and then it's only been in like the last 200 that we've had like the Industrial Revolution or something, and then progress has like advanced exponentially from there to where we've gone like electricity, and then electricity to God knows what, internet, and now we're wearing Vision Pros and shit. So I feel like all this stuff is advancing at an exponential rate, right? Like growth is exponentially growing.
Yeah, more people don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
The exponential is not in this short term Ray Kurzweilian perspective. It's actually in the 200-year
Yeah,
chart.
so within this 200 years, we've gone fucking crazy. But then, to his point, within the last 15 years, the biggest innovations were like
Are you just describing like a log chart then?
I think it's parabola, but within the last 15 years, it's like kind of been soft. Like we haven't grown so much in the last 15 years as we did the previous.
Like I could, if you look at society as a whole, like has society as a whole gotten richer? Like, and you could typically look at the bottom parts and say, is their life richer in terms of not their purchasing power of what they can buy with their income, but just how easy their lives are, how convenient it is to get access to certain things like housing, electricity, healthcare, food, things like that. And you could say over 50 years that has dramatically improved. But could you say that over the last 15 years? I don't know. It's tough to say.
I mean, like, think about it this way. Like, if you guys could just snap your finger and be your age, but like it's 1996.
Do I have
Would
the
you do it?
same ticker knowledge and chart knowledge that I do now?
No, this
Okay.
isn't Back to the Future.
Shoot. What was 1996? I was still signing up with Prodigy and AOL to connect to the internet.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Hotmail.
Like when I think about like, oh, you have to go back to the 90s, right? Like, it sounds like kind of good. Whereas if somebody
I
was
left
like,
my phone
if
at
somebody
home?
was like, okay, now you have to go back to the year before indoor plumbing, you'd be like, no.
But I don't
Absolutely not.
like. I don't actually think that's the right question, because like let's think about AI's development over the last 18 months and where we started with Will Smith's spaghetti to where we are now on Sora. Like that development happened in a year.
Yeah.
And like over the last 15 years, we haven't had like that much development. We went from fucking Alta Vista to Google to
Okay.
Facebook.
So I think that we're like very focused on the technology aspect of it. He did not say what he meant at all. He just like threw out this tweet and left it as is. But if I were to interpret that in a way that I think is interesting, well, he did reply to one person. What was that reply? The person replied to a technology aspect. It was like smartphone came out 15 years ago. That was pretty significant. PC came out 15 years before that. That was pretty significant. And he's like, well, what about since that? And I think what he's missing about since that is like, actually, what happens is, according to a fund that I admire called NFX, technology happens in 14, 15-year cycles. So the next wave has been AI, actually. That would create a whole conversation. I want to leave that to the side in order to talk about something different. It's like, what if it's not about technology?
No, he's
What if-
obviously not talking about technology. I
Exactly.
agree with you. He's
Like,
not
what
like,
if-
oh my
what
God,
if the
like, why don't we have a
dark
flying car?
ages are what's been going on socially, culturally. Like, this dark age that we've been in is very real. Society has been more polarized, more fragmented, more chaotic, more just disgusting in so many ways that didn't exist before. Like, COVID happened, people started like being rude to each other, like all these things that happened that were not a part of society in the 2000s, in the 90s. Like, I don't know, I just feel like that's more what he's alluding to, and that's more like what's worth dissecting. Is like, is it possible that we've now embarked on like a new time period where people are being kinder to one another. People are just like starting to wake up to like becoming a little more conscious about things, and like we'll look back and say like, why were we like that for so long? Like, what was going on?
It's not the phone to me. It's like the advent of our time is like a socially networked species.
So technology is the culprit. Like social media is the culprit
Yeah.
that sparked it. The iPhone sparked it, right? Social media and apps sparked it, but
I don't know if it's an iPhone. I think social media and the idea of basically like living on the internet and being like connected on the internet is the inflection.
Is
point.
like the evolution of a species.
Like the
essentially?
original iPhone, like you couldn't even do anything. It was just, oh, you have like a map, and that was like cool. Like nobody's life was ruined from having like Google Maps on.
And the
your
iPhone's
iPhone,
just a
you
medium
know? That
anyways.
was-
It's just like
that
a
was cool.
vehicle to be connected to the internet.
Yeah, like stuff started getting
the
weird with
ultimate
like
irony
Facebook and
is that within the last 15 years, we became more connected, but every single human being reports being feelings of less connection.
You have depression increasing, teenage suicide
Across the
increasing.
board. Across the board, every factor psychologically downward trend. And yet, we have more ways to connect than ever before. I used to walk out my house and not connect with anyone for 7 hours, come home, check my voicemails, and everything was okay. Right now, I can't not take my phone out of my back pocket for more than 2 minutes to check what's going on any app, and yet people feel less connected. Yeah. Like that's the irony.
You're
of the
talking
whole
about
thing.
we're going into the dark ages, not necessarily.
So that's the question actually that comes up for me is like, what is ending the dark ages?
Well, I think-
is anything ending the dark ages?
I think on our last episode of Alfalfa, Steven talked about this, where like as you get better technology, you actually get greater connectivity, because right now we're like interacting with each other in this like 2D format on your phone, when you can like be in a 3D world with each other. We can be with our audience right now all together. Like, isn't that more connected? Like, isn't that kind of like the bring back?
you're saying like connected in terms of like, oh, how many nodes are online, right? Oh, like just there's a good connection, but it's not like a human connection, you know? Like, oh, you're like, you have like all these touch points with like random people that are just like a bunch of pixels, but it's not like actually.
So you're saying it's not
connection.
as connected as the reality, but then I would also question like, well, if that looks so fucking real, like, is our reality even real? And then we feel like this is real, so we feel this like connectivity within our version of reality. But if you go to that version and it feels the exact same, like, what's wrong with that? Like, we might not be in the base layer.
You and your damn simulation thing.
I think we're in a simulation. I think it's obvious we're in a simulation. I think it's like, I think
He's
it's
saying
clear.
You strap on the Vision Pro, and that gets you the feelings you need. What's the difference between being
Because
in
isn't like humanity just the emotion, I think? And if like you can simulate the emotion, doesn't that get you like at least 99% of the way?
No, like there's like the importance is the depth, right? Like this is why like when you like snort cocaine or something, even though you feel really good in the moment and your brain fires a bunch of shit and like all these, and you're like, it's like not really like a good feeling. It's just like the simulation of a good feeling, and then that passes, and then there's like nothing there. There's not like a subset. It's the same thing online. You have like all these, like you get this like high from all these like little touch points of stuff, but there's nothing there. There's like
right?
a
At
happiness
some
to
point, you have to come down. At some point, you take off the glasses, and at some time, you shut the computer. And
But like, I'm actually using Steven's own logic from our last episode, where like the richness of the sim that we've created actually makes it better. Like, it makes it that good. Like, that's your take.
Okay, I also think we're going like too deep on this, because I think what he's saying
Always go deeper.
with what he's saying like is, this is a dark age. Like there's direct analogies, right? Like what happened in the dark ages? Like we lost art, we lost science.
Like 75% of the
Basic shit.
population.
Like I think like you look at it over the last like 15 years, like is art better? Like I would argue no. Like music seems worse. Like art seems worse. Like, is science better? Like I would argue no. Like you can look at a lot of stuff in society and be like, oh, we've either like co-opted science for the purpose of propaganda or like completely ignored it. Right. And like what people say like
Okay.
I should like as art is like not good.
You're
like,
digging into what I think is interesting about that comment.
like I think there's like a
it's the
direct
art, it's
parallel.
the science, it's that's the
Like there's like a
conversation.
cultural decay. Like I don't think people in like
Hip-hop
100
is dead.
years are going to look like think about like the culture of like previous decades versus like the culture of like the 2010s. Like are people really going to look at the 2010s culture and be like, wow, this is just like the you know it like what happened there that was like really good or great or deep. Like they're like
History books won't
I've
write
always
about it.
felt like this. And maybe I'm just being a boomer, but
it's like it's a little nostalgia kind of effect.
it's
'cause-
sometimes nostalgia. But like there are periods of human history where things just are objectively terrible. Like humanity just loses its way for maybe a decade, but sometimes like a century or two, and it just
And like maybe that describes the dark age that DC investors talking about, but I don't think that that has to be that way going forward.
no, it doesn't. But like, did it happen? Is sort of the thing. Like, did
Right.
it happen and nobody even noticed it? Like, it's not like something people walk around and think about. Like, oh yeah, we're in the dark ages right now.
But we
We're in
are.
modern
Like
dark
we're in a
ages.
fourth turning where institutions crumble, like trust.
The real question is how
Crumbles.
long these turns last.
What, 25 years ish?
Well, that's not good.
Just own assets, bro.
I don't want my best years in a turning.
I
in
know.
the fourth turning.
I think we're like halfway through the fourth turning. If it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
got 12 and a half more years.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't
But,
know.
but you can be around
roughly.
for the crumble to be
Could
to
be over in a
rebuild.
few years.
You could be the wise elder to help rebuild.
Yeah,
The
great
institutions.
opportunity for you. You're gonna live through. the
We're made
end
for
of
this
the
shit,
dark
boys.
age.
We were made for it. We were made
So
for
this
it.
is our new tagline: a podcast for the
Oh.
end of the dark ages. That's not gonna catch on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've had too
Yeah.
many old fashions.
I also don't think that I agree.
I just poured a new one, so
You
Just-
opened up the new bottle, but
You know when you say stuff, and you're
literally
like, "This
poured a
is gonna slap so hard," and then it comes out of your mouth, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I've said the words."
I think we're biting off more than we can chew. We just like to make money sometimes.
all right.
No, stop it.
Well, if you just want to make money sometimes, you can catch this podcast again tomorrow.
only
With just
only 50% of it.
only 50% of it. Just Eric and Steven tomorrow, Irresponsibly Long on Thursday. And that's at the Irresponsibly Long Pod YouTube channel. So check it out now. Subscribe if you want to get alerted to it. Other announcements, just as a reminder, ETH Denver event. If you're going to be in Denver or going to the event, come to our event live in special episode next week. We're not sure if it's live yet. We'll see if we can pull that off with the conference facilities they have available. And then follow Steven.
Yeah, and
And-
if you're watching the video right now, like the video. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Let's
Send
like
the
the
signal.
video.
Send the signal to YouTube's.
Any sisters in the audience?
Any sisters, please
the video.
make your way over.
Yeah, all that stuff helps.
Please.
We really appreciate you. And
That was great.
check out zbiotics.com/alfalfa,
What a question,
magicspoon.com
even.
/alfalfa.
Of course.
And this has been a fun one. I think this is like a quintessential alfalfa episode. We
It's
get
an
to talk
all-timer
about,
for me. It's
we get to
already
talk
an
about
all-timer.
our
Yeah,
love
I-
of money and making money, but then we get to take technology and dive a little deeper
this
into
is
it.
it, baby. Week in, week out.
All right,
I'm here for
MVP
it.
Shaw takes MVP of this episode.
This is kind of
You've been
sticking,
awarded
huh?
one MVP.
Yeah, he's kind of grown on me.
Oh man.
We love the chat for joining. It was on fire today.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was
wait to
on
go look
fire.
through the comments.
Great job, chat.
Thanks,
That was-
Rectum.
That was fun.
Yeah, thank you, Rectum, for the donation.
Appreciate you.
Love you guys all, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.